Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Wassalatu wassalamu ala ashrafil anbiya'i wal mursaleen. Nabiyyina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa ashabihi ajma'een. Amma ba'd. Respected brothers and elders, mothers and sisters, dear listeners in Islam. All praise belongs to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, who through His infinite grace and mercy and kindness upon us, Allah has blessed us with the wealth of Iman, with the kalima La ilaha illallah, Muhammadur Rasulullah. If someone in our family passes away, especially someone close to us, someone that we love, maybe a person's father, or a person's mother, or a person's grandfather, then many people in the family, they will ask just to find out, what was the last words of my father? What were the last words of my mother? And why a person will ask this? Because he wants to find out, what were the last wishes of my father? So that in the entire life that I have, I would like to fulfill the wish of my father. I would like to fulfill the wish of my grandfather. If we ponder carefully and we read the seerah of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, we'll find out that our beloved Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam's last words when he was leaving this world. And imagine at the time of sakaratul maut, when a person is going through this intense difficulty where his soul is leaving his body, and Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he's going through difficulty where he's putting his hand in the pot of water on the side, and his head is in the lap of Aisha radiyallahu ta'ala anha, and he gives a message to this ummah until the day of Qiyamah. The Nabi of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is giving a message to mankind until the day of Qiyamah, in his condition of difficulty while his soul is leaving his body. He's saying to this ummah, As-salah, As-salah, wa ma malakat aymanukum. Giving the importance to mankind until the day of Qiyamah, that hold firm on your salah. Hold firm on your salah. Just like how a son, he listens attentively to his dying father, or a grandson to his grandfather, and he wants to fulfill that command or that desire or wish that was in his father or grandfather's heart. We have to fulfill that desire which was in the heart of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, that we need to fulfill our salah. In the Quran, Allah has not mentioned that we need to read salah, but Allah has mentioned that we need to establish salah. And Allah mentioned in the Quran, Aqimus Salah, Aqimus Salah, not one time. If there was one command, it would have been sufficient. But Allah did not command us one time in the Quran, nor 2 times or 3 times. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioned this word 10 times in the Quran. Aqimus Salah, Aqimus Salah. 10 times Allah has commanded us as the ummah of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam to establish salah. And this ummah of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given us the Quran. In the Quran, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in many occasions speaks about the life of Musa alayhi salam with the Bani Israel. That Fir'aun, he was a tyrant. Fir'aun was thirsty for the blood of the people. He would kill young little children and leave the women to live in humiliation. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioned this story in the Quran many times to teach this ummah of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam, because this ummah will follow the Bani Israel. Hadh wa nali bin nal. The same way that the Bani Israel moved, this ummah will go in the same direction. And like how they were bloodthirsty people at those times, there will be people in this time also that will be bloodthirsty for the blood of people with no valid reason. And what is the solution? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioned the solution to Bani Israel. اجعلوا بيوتكم قبلة وأقيموا الصلاة. This was a command to Bani Israel, and it is the command to the Summah of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam to be saved from the atrocities and the difficulties of mankind's situation. We have to build our iman. We need to make our iman firm. We need to establish the iman in the recesses of our heart. Believe in Allah purely. Don't have an iman that is shaky and doubtful. We have to make our iman firm. And we need to establish salah. This is the solution. This is the solution for the Ummah's problems. That's why the establishment of a masjid. The previous Ummahs, they did not have the salat with jama'ah like how we perform. They would come, they would be a place of worship. But the masjid system was being put in place from the time of Ibrahim alayhi salam. Allah made him make hijrah with his wife towards Makkah Mukarramah. He left a young girl with a small little baby, Hajra alayha Ridwan, and Ismail alayhi salam. No shade, no means of food, no plantation of vegetation. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala proved to mankind until the day of Qiyamah, He brought Zamzam into existence in the shade of the Kaaba, that any person that will establish the amal of the masjid, link himself to the masjid, link himself to Baytullah, link himself to the house of Allah, Allah will become sufficient for them until the day of Qiyamah, to teach mankind that our sustenance is not from outside. Our sustenance and the thing that gives us our sustenance, the thing that draws our sustenance, is the performance of salah. The way we deal with Allah, that is how Allah will deal with us. The more a person is connected to Allah, the more Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala takes care of the needs of the person that is performing salah. When a person is in the masjid, he's in the care of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. When people establish the masjid, Allama ibn Kathir rahimahullah has made mention, when the people established the masjid and they made the masjid abad, they made the masjid a place of their home. Every male makes the masjid his house. This is where he feels comfortable. This is where he wants to be. And this is from amongst those 7 people that will be under the shade of the arsh of Allah on the day of Qiyamah. A person, when he leaves the masjid, he loves to come back to the masjid. He cannot wait until he comes back to the masjid. The establishment of the masjid, his heart's desire and yearning is to be in the masjid all the time. This will be one of the people that will be under the shade of the arsh of Allah on the day of Qiyamah. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam's time, a person by the name of Mirdas, Allama ibn Kathir has made mention of the incident. His name was Mirdas. He had an idol. His idol's name was Dimad. And he would go to his idol and he would worship his idol. And he was very diligent to his idol. And as he was worshipping his idol, he had his young son that was with him, whose name was Abbas. Abbas bin Mirdas. He would tell his son, just like how I'm worshipping this idol, you should also worship this idol. Whenever you have problems, difficulties, hardships come your way, you go to this idol will sort your problems out. Years passed by, Mirdas passed away, and his son, now he was the owner of their farm and their land, and he would go to this idol, Dimad, and he would worship the idol. One day he went into the farm, and while he was busy with his farming, he saw something, and an imagery of an ostrich that came to speak to him in a metaphorical way. And as he was speaking to him, he became perplexed. He was shocked. He did not know what happened. He said, my father told me when I go through difficulty, I should go to Dimad, go speak to our idol. So he went to the idol, and he went to speak to the idol. When he was speaking to the idol, Allama ibn Kathir makes mention from the stomach of the idol. From the stomach of the idol, the sound came out and said, Halakat Dimad, Halakat Dimad, wa faza ahlul masjidi. The time of Dimad is over. The people were making so much ibadah in the masjid that the sound came out from the stomach of an idol to say that the time of idol worship is over. Now it's the time for the success of the people in the masjid. Go to the people of the masjid. The solution to mankind's problems is not outside the masjid. The solution to our problems is that we come inside the masjid and we connect ourselves to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This masjid and every masjid and all the masajid, they are the houses of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam has made mention in a hadith, and listen to this hadith carefully, it's an amazing hadith of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Inna lil masajidi awtadan. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, Inna lil masajidi awtadan. There are certain people, they are the pegs of the masjid. They are the pegs, the pillars of the masjid. Whenever you come inside the masjid, you see him in the masjid. Whenever you come inside the masjid, you see that person in the masjid. They are the pegs of the masjid. These are the people that established the masjid. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said that for such people, al-malaikatu julasa'uhum. And this is very amazing. Normally in Arabic, if a person is sitting, we'll say, hum julasa'ul malaika, because this is the place of the angels. The masjid is the place of the angels. So we'll say, the person that comes in the masjid, he is sitting in the company of the angels. But Rasulullah said, this man, he frequents the masjid so much, the angels sit by him. The angels come to sit with him. Al-malaikatu julasa'uhum. Instead of him sitting with the angels come and sit with such a person. In ghabu yaftaqidunahum. If he's absent from the masjid for any specific reason, a genuine reason, he cannot come to the masjid. Just like how the brothers in the masjid, if someone did not come, Brother Bashir was not here for a few days, something happened, people were asking around, where's so-and-so, he did not come to the masjid, we need to find out, is he okay? The person was not coming to the masjid, people come and want to find out, why did so-and-so not come? The angels start finding out and they look for him. Why did he not come to the masjid? In maridu aduhum. When this specific person becomes sick, because he was connected to the masjid, when he becomes sick, the angels go and the angels make his iyada and they go and visit him because he is sick. وَإِن كَانُوا فِي حَاجَةٍ أَعَانُوهُم. And if he has any need, a person who's connected to the masjid, if he has any need, the angels go and they fulfill his needs for him. This is a hadith of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, in another narration, he made mention with regards and to the respect of the masjid. Buyuti fil ard al masajid. My houses on the earth are the masajid. Ummaruha zuwaruha. Buyuti fil ard al masajid. Ummaruha zuwaruha. My homes on this earth are the masajid. Then Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, those that frequent the masjid, they are the visitors of the masjid. They come to visit the masjid. They come here to the masjid. Then Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, Tuba liman tatahhara fi baytih. Glad tidings for the man that makes wudu at home. He makes wudu at home. There's special reward for a person to make wudu at home. And then he comes to the masjid. He's like a person that has put on ihram and is going for Hajj. Every step he takes to the masjid, one sin is forgiven. One reward is written for him. And one level he raises in akhirah, in Jannah. So he makes wudu. ثُمَّ طُوبَى لِمَنْ تَطَهَّرَ فِي بَيْتِي ثُمَّ زَارَنِي. This hadith Qudsi of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala states, normally in the text of hadith we would say, ثُمَّ ذَهَبَ إِلَى الْمَسْجِدِ ثُمَّ مَشَى إِلَى. Then he came from his home and he went to the masjid. But Allah does not say that. When a man makes wudu at home and he comes to the masjid, in the hadith Qudsi it states, ثُمَّ زَارَنِي. He is coming to visit Allah. When he comes to the masjid, he is coming to visit Allah. Then Allah says, فَحَقٌّ عَلَى الْمَزُورِ أَن يُكْرِمَ الزَّائِرِ. Nothing is farad on Allah. Allah has to fulfill the responsibility to any person. But Allah says, it is the right of the host. when his guests are coming, if we know we're getting guests to come to our house, we know we're getting special guests, they come into our house, we invited them, they come into our house, how a person, if he's a regular host, he will clean his house, take care of the guests, open the door, welcome them in, marhaba, he welcomes his guests. فَحَقٌّ عَلَى الْمَزُورِ أَن يُكْرِمَ الزَّائِرِ. Allah says, these people are my guests, and it is the right of the host to take care of his guests. Those that come to the masjid, they are the guests of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And it is the right, Allah will fulfill the right of every person. That's why the houses of Allah, they do not belong to anybody. The house of Allah is not anyone's private property. This is the property of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The Baytullah, the masjid belongs to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The house of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Harun al-Rashid, he had an argument with his wife, and he said to his wife, if before the sun set you do not leave the kingdom of Harun al-Rashid, you will be 3 times divorced. You'll be 3 times divorced. The masla was, how is she going to be saved? She's the wife of the king, the queen of the time. At night they went to go find out by the next morning, Fajr time, she will be divorced when the sun rises. They went to the student of Imam Abu Hanifa rahimahullah, Abu Yusuf, to ask him the masla. He said to them, tell your wife to go in the masjid. Tell your wife to go in the masjid, because the masjid does not come under the jurisdiction of Harun al-Rashid. It is not his property. It is not his land. Because Allah mentioned in the Quran, وَأَنَّ الْمَسَاجِدَ لِلَّهِ وَأَنَّ الْمَسَاجِدَ لِلَّهِ. The masjid belongs to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Who connects himself to the masjid, Allah becomes sufficient for him. Allah helps him. Allah puts the angels in his care to fulfill his needs. The right thing is, the masjid is just like how a person has the heart, and the heart is the center point of this body, this community. The center point of this community should be the masjid. If a person is connected and the masjid is operating correctly, in the right way, and a person is connected to the masjid, all the needs of the body will be correct. When the heart is correct, then the body is correct. We need to connect ourselves to the masjid. Every person, we have to connect ourselves. There's conditions in the world. Don't think conditions cannot come. And those people will be safe of those people that are connected to the masjid, connected to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Because we only have one person, one being that can save us and protect us, and that is Allah. May Allah give us the tawfiq of understanding.